morning everyone, and welcome back to the first video of the second wave of our Lego Legend of Zelda custom set showcase. It's been a while since we've actually done a set custom, but I'm here this week to start us off with a bang, and that this week is Z0016 with 5,532 pieces. It's the 18 plus set. You can tell what it is from the silhouette. It is the life-size Hylian Shield. So here is the life-size Hylian Shield Z0016 for ages 18 plus with 5,532 pieces, retailing for around 300 Great British pounds and with one exclusive minifigure, the Hylian Shield. And this one comes in the large Colosseum-sized box, and you can see the red greebling marking it as an 18 plus set around the bottom, the Lego, Nintendo and Legend of Zelda logos, as well as our shield right in the middle. You get a quick glimpse at the exclusive figure for the set down the side, as well as the text for Hylian Shield, and that in French and Spanish with Escudo Hylian and Baucelier Hylian. I butchered that pronunciation. But anyway, let's get into this one quickly so that I can actually show you the full glory of this life-sized, yes, life-sized Hylian Shield model made entirely out of Lego. And here is our description for Lego.com this time. For super fans of Lego and The Legend of Zelda, we are proud to present a life-sized Hylian Shield to display proudly on your wall. This display piece, consisting of over 5,500 Lego elements, is a talking point and wonderful art piece. Included in this set is the exclusive statue of Hylian minifigure to celebrate this exclusive set's release. Okay, so here is the model all built up, and before we get there, we've got to see how it was built. So let's take a look inside this really big and special box. This is one of the best boxes I think I've ever done. And if we lift off the cover, just like one of those fancy boxes, you can see that inside are a selection of 7 smaller boxes of all different shapes of sizes. And if we remove another couple of those, you can see another box underneath which says, "It's dangerous to go alone, take these." And there's something special inside that box too. Beneath all the rest of the boxes is the instruction manual encased in a cardboard protector and some more unnumbered bags full of large Technic elements and the like. So, if we take a look at all of those pieces individually, you can see that there are those 7 boxes, the Dangerous to Go Alone box, a very thick instruction manual, and 4 unnumbered bags full of those larger pieces. In box 1, we have bags 1 to 5, and on each of the boxes, which make up a part of that Hylian Shield image which you saw earlier, is a quote relating to the Hylian Shield of a Triforce. So let me just read this one out. So box 1 containing bags 1 to 5 has the quote, "The Thunder Dragon delights in testing those with promise with the hope of finding a worthy recipient of the shield." Box 2 contains bags 7 to 9, the bottom right of the shield picture, and the quote, "A shield passed down through the Hylian royal family along with the legend of the hero who wielded it." Box 3 is the top left of the shield, containing only bags 10 and 11, and says, "It's fireproof and protects from magical attacks." Box 4 contains bags 12 to 17, the middle top left of the shield, and the quote, "Its defensive capabilities and durability outshine all other shields." Box 5 contains bags 18 to 22, and the quote, "My current hot seller is the Hylian Shield, but it might be too big for you, kid." And box 6 contains bags 23 to 28, and the quote, "The shield depicts the brilliant red Loftwing once ridden by the hero." Finally, box 7 with only bag 29 has the picture of the Triforce and the quote, "The power to make any desire a reality." There is also that Dangerous to Go Alone, take these box, and that contains the 12 of the 16 by 16 by 1 1/3 black plates from Art Theme that make the mosaics. They're also used heavily in the Colosseum and now in this shield too. Here is the instruction manual, thick and very detailed as it should be. And if we take a look at what each bag builds, I'm going to run through these really quickly. You can see that bag 1 and 2 start building up the bottom of the shield frame. Bag 3 and 4 kind of add to that shape. 5 and 6 kind of finish off that rough shaping phase. 7 and 8 add the actual full detail, as well as a very interesting method for how we attach the full width of the shield. 9 and 10 kind of fill in that hole of the where the supports need to go for the plates on the top, and 10 starts plating up the shield. Bag 11 finishes the plating, and 12 starts the rimming edge. 13 and 14 both continue the rim. 15 and 16 also continue the rim, and 17 finishes off the rim, with 18 starting on the blue tiling. 19 and 20 get the bottom half of the blue tiling done, and 21 and 22 finish off the base level of blue tiling. 23 and 24 do the basis of the red loftwing wings. 25 finishes those off, and 26 adds the crest in the middle. 27 does all of the bottom details, including the metalwork as well as the loftwing body, and 28 does the trimming around the Triforce as well as the top metal scrapes. And bag 29 finishes off with the minifigure of Hylia as well as the actual Triforce itself, which is what was in special box number 7, and I think that is very fitting. So here is the actual model, and the first thing I wanted to show you guys today is the actual scale of this thing. This is actually size accurate to the size of a minifigure, and that is absolutely crazy how huge this thing is. Like, you can't even see the end. It's like twice the height of a minifigure, and that's the smallest depth. But there you can see our statue of Hylian minifigure next to the shield. The next image I have to show you is a rotation animation, which just kind of shows you the scale, the size, and everything that the shield looks like. You can see the nice metal detailing as well as how smooth that shield is with all the blue. At one point in the development, it was an idea to kind of add some grey cracks into the blue paintwork, sort of like the Breath of the Wild version, like it's a bit older. But just like what they did with the Ecto one, I think that would be doing a disservice to the fans, so I decided not to include the rusting. Here we have a nice detailed shot of the shield's decoration, and you get an idea of how those loftwing parts are built. There was so much snot techniquing that went into this build, so many angles, so many crazy techniques. It took me forever to get the edging done as well. But here is a lot of the details on the shield, and we'll go take a model in studio in just a minute. Here is the shield on a wall, and I know this looks absolutely ridiculous, but you've got to remember that this thing is almost a meter tall. So yes, it would take up half of an average door frame that goes about 2 meters high, 2 doors. So here is the shield on the wall, and that is crazy. Like, that is absolutely crazy. Do I have to say any more about this showcase? It's my largest set I've ever done for the showcase, and it's 18 plus branded, and it looks incredible in my opinion. I'm really proud of this one. Here are those dimensions, like I mentioned earlier. The shield is 94 centimeters from top to bottom, 84 centimeters across at its widest point, and 6 centimeters deep. And here is that shield as if it was on a person, and in this case that is Link, as well as what the shield looks like compared to its actual in-game counterpart. So what I wanted to mention is this shield is a meter tall. That's slightly taller than a shield really should be, and probably would cover from the mid of your upper leg all the way up to your neck, which is way more than it should. But you know, it was either doing life-sized shield or very small shield, so I chose to go slightly bigger for the sake of the pattern and detail. And oh wow, I cannot believe that I actually made this. It's just starting to sink in now. Some interesting facts for you. In this set, there are over 1,269 of these blue tiles. That is over 1/5 of the entire set, which is why it can be so cheap for the 5,500 pieces, as they kind of counteract there. In fact, it may even be a 250 set. We'll see. And one last point to make out is in white underneath the instruction manual. I didn't show it in the other images earlier, but the quote would be, "Courage need not be remembered, for it is never forgotten." And I thought this was a really funny touch just because you just ripped out this giant instruction manual, 28 bags, 5,000 pieces. You need a bit of courage for this build. It's quite an extreme one. It's definitely nothing like Diagon Alley or the like. Anyway, taking a quick look at our minifigure, and then we'll hop over to the studio to take a closer look at the actual shield in general. We have our Statue of Hylia exclusive minifigure, and you can see she's using the dress piece here in grey with some very simplistic printing. That printing continues onto the torso with a bit of cuff printing around the arms, and obviously the actual patterning that she has in her in-game component. This is slightly based off the Skyward Sword variant, but also sort of those Breath of the Wild mini statues and technically any other appearance of this statue in the series. And she is using the same hairpiece as my Breath of the Wild Zelda to keep the two consistent, as you know, she is a reincarnation of the Statue of Hylia in a sense. But I thought this was a really nice exclusive figure that could really make this set have that extra bit of charm to it, you know, like with the Hogwarts Founders or that exclusive Harry in Diagon Alley. But it's just a nice extra touch for such an expensive set. So this set would also come with a display plaque, and I have not been able to design this one because I did not know what I wanted to put on there. So I wanted that to open this up to you guys, and I was hoping that in the comments down below, if you're enjoying this video, that one, maybe you leave a comment to see what to say what you think about this build, but also if you would give me some information and accurate facts to put on the plaque. And if you guys can give me some good things, I will make a second follow-up video at the end of this custom wave, and I will put a plaque together. It was just a lot more effort to do, so I haven't done it yet, but I will if you guys want it. So let's hop over to the studio file. Here is the Hylian Shield in all its glory, and I just did a zoom out pan there for you just to give you another sense of scale. There's that minifigure down there on the side, and you can see it's absolutely dwarfed by this thing. One first thing I wanted to take a look at over here is this central crest, and that is mainly because of the interesting angles that it is built at. If we go in and take a closer look at this shield piece here in particular, and if I hide a couple of these elements over here, we'll see that to get a lot of these shapes, I had to do some very interesting angle work. You can see sort of here that there's some hinge clips that go in at this direction, and I'd also try and show you that over here at the top, you can see that it is built snot in the middle, going out, then changing direction, and then these side panels here are attached using clear minifigure holders, which I thought was a really interesting technique that I've seen them do in a couple of other sets before, or at least I think I have, maybe I'm misremembering, and I thought it created that really nice curved shape for the center of that loft wing sort of crest. But right, that's not the only thing I wanted to show you in this file. Obviously, you can see the rest of the crest layouts here. You can very clearly see that there was a lot of snot work that went on to get that in the right shape, as well as how I balanced my studs and tiles. I wanted it to be as smooth as possible, but it's also really important to me that we acknowledge this is a Lego model. So I was not afraid to use studs to add texture, especially to the metal areas, and also because in some areas you just don't have a choice. Like there is no tile for this piece, and there was no other way of filling in the gap, especially considering blue 2 by 2 triangle corners don't exist in blue yet, and I wanted the set to actually be plausible in real life with the current piece selections. We also use these 3 by 3 tiles to create the rivets that sit on the top and the bottom, and you may notice that that's something that's actually missing. On lots of versions of the Hylian Shield, there is actually some more metal points in the corners, but I thought it just distracted from the main build and they were too hard to implement and look good. One thing that was also a fair challenge is these metal pieces here, which in the game would probably be a bit thicker, but you know, we're using these quarter round 4x4 tiles, and I thought they worked really well. You can see another use of the 3 by 3 tiles here, right down by the Triforce segments, which are what was included in our special bag 29. You can see I even had to make use of pentagonal tiles just to fill those last couple of gaps, despite the interesting texture change. And one last detail on the front to point out is the use of minifigure handcuffs, which is a piece that I think works quite well in lots of scenarios for that metal scroll work which sits at the top of the scale. It was also really important to me that this edge here was as flush as possible. After seeing the Batwing is really what gave me the confidence to keep going with this set design. I'd kind of reached a roadblock after sorting out the main internal structure with how to do the edge, but seeing how they curved around the Batwing edges really is what allowed me to keep going and use this technique. Each connection point is different, and we'll take a look at those in a moment, but seeing those small gaps on there really gave me the confidence to not mind little gaps like this and this. Taking a look at the back, like I mentioned, the back is deliberately not covered by plates because 1, it would probably almost look messier with all the gaps, 2, I don't think it would be structurally sound, and 3, why would they waste places on the back when this is a wall mount waddle? There is no stand for this model because it would just be too ridiculous. You can also clearly see here the art plates, the 16 by 16s used here. A couple of them are covered up for support reasons, but one of the more interesting techniques I wanted to point out is over here. Now this is probably not entirely legal, but at the end of the day this is a mock-only replicating set and there was no other way I could do it. But in order to get this guy out to just the right length to attach to these side panels, which are for some reason off-centered by about a third of a stud, you can see that I had to use a Technic piece that is attached to this side and some Technic pieces that are attached to this side, and using the misalignment of studs between the different pieces, I was able to attach the two together with 4 long green lightsaber bar pieces. And I thought that was a really cool technique, and there's plenty like that all the way around. You can see that one as well as over here. with this over here, making good use of the slight flexibility of these to turn the angle and attach these together. This piece is invaluable to me a lot of the time. Also, you can see that I kept with the bright color fiascos and piece usages in order to make the build understandable. There's a lot of grey and a lot of blue, so using as much red, teal and bright orange as I possibly could throughout the build to distinguish where these special structural pieces go. However, unlike the Star Destroyer, I made sure that none of these were visible from the top. And that's about going to cover it for the model, and I hope you guys really do understand how much of an undertaking this was. This thing is huge. It's almost a meter in both diameters. One day I'd love to really build this in real life, but the only way I can do that is by waiting for a couple of years and probably reworking the whole thing, because I bet it's not structurally sound. Either way, what do you guys think of this? But let's go over to the conclusion. So that's going to wrap it up for looking a look at our Hylian Shield, or Escudo Hylian, today. And this was the first custom set showcase in our Wave 2 showcase. And I hope you guys enjoyed that we came back with a bang. Really, this model is so incredible, and I'm really, really proud that I was able to do this, even if it was only in studio. It's kind of insane to think about, really, that how big this is. And the reason I chose to do the Hylian Shield as the first 18+ set is, to be honest, at a smaller scale, I can honestly see them doing this. To me, it's one of the best things from the series that they could turn into a nice 18+ piece, even if it's one of their art mosaics. A lot of people would say that the Master Sword would be more iconic, but it just seems a step too far to actually make a weapon as an official Lego set, given how badly the Osprey went down. But a shield, that's all about defense, and being so iconic, I can really see this becoming a wall mount as a Lego piece in the future, in the line of the Batwing. Now, I mentioned the Batwing earlier, and I definitely had this idea before the Batwing, but the Batwing was honestly a huge help in working out how to do this structurally, as well as the ridging for the shield. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for today. I've covered pretty much everything there is about this Hylian Shield. There's no real play features bar being able to wall mount it, and I'm sorry that render looked so awful. Anyway, give me your ideas for the display pack in the comments today, down below, as well as any other ideas for future custom sets. There are another 10 in the work, as you can see here, and well, which ones do you think are which? As for next week, we've got a particularly interesting one, Z0028, with only 4 pieces. Now, I bet you guys know what this looks like, but why has it only got 4 pieces? What custom set is this? Leave your theories down below in the comments. Tell me what you thought of this model, as well as consider subscribing so you don't miss out on this exciting custom set showcase as it unfolds. We're only just getting started here. We really are. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.